Hey there. So this time I'll actually be showing you how to create your audience segment. So once you're at this page, right, what is your audience segment for? The audience segment is to describe, or rather to set up the criteria of your target market, right? You know, from the behavior, the interest, the demographic, their location, right, their device. Okay, so from here, in order to create your audience segment, first you must click on create. Then you have to name your audience segment. So let's just call this a quick one, right? Audience 1. And then down here, this part here is your demographic. This is demographic, language, demographic, location, geolocation, and mobile, devices is devices, very self-explanatory. Okay, so this is one of the important bits. Average cost you want to pay for every conversion is the cost that you're willing to pay for the conversion. Of course, it's not the cost of you paying to us. Of course that would be fantastic, but no. If you recall saying, running a conversion campaign, say on Facebook itself, right, that you will see that you have cost control, right? You can actually cap your bid. So what this actually does is that it tells, hey, okay, because again, the ad, as ads work like in auction, right, wherein you have many other people bidding against you and bidding with you, right, within that, in order to actually get the attention of, say, a certain individual. Okay. So for example, say that you've only, your product itself is only 100 ringgit. The rule of thumb here is you want to spend, you want to spend about 10 ringgit like that, in terms of a single conversion, right? So that would be your bid. So say that your bid is 10 ringgit, so you're now telling, say, Facebook, right, or even in this case Peasy as well, that I'm only willing to pay 10 ringgit. Now what happens if you don't include this within your ad settings, right? So if you don't include this within your settings, what happens is that, say, hey, okay, seems like you've got a budget of 1,000 ringgit, right? Even though your product is only worth 100 ringgit, that guy is worth 80 ringgit. He's about to buy. I'm going to spend 80 ringgit on this guy to get you that conversion. It doesn't make much sense when your profit margin only ends up being very small. Your profit ends up being 20 ringgit instead of 90 ringgit. So yeah, let's not do that, right? So it's always best practice to actually determine, so rather to actually put down your bid. But usually what is difficult is deciding on what is a good bid and what is a competitive bid. So that's the beauty about Peasy. Peasy actually recommends the bid for your said product, right? So if in this case, Peasy has recommended that I should spend 50 ringgit per bid, right? Now, for example, if 50 ringgit, that's not my style. I feel like spending way more. By all means, you can change that. It's not an issue. But of course, by changing we can't exactly recommend we can't exactly give like the best results, because what we have given is based on what is predicted to be the best in terms of result production, right? So okay, moving on. Now you have your audience, right? So because you can only run this on Facebook, right, you now have so it'll be exactly the same as Facebook. You have include audience, narrow audience, exclude audience. Now reason why you can only run this on Facebook is because this is a conversion campaign, right? So here again, simple. Like imagine, just now you actually, or rather, I put in Peasy AI, right? So say I put in software. So then what Peasy does is, based on those keywords as well, right? Peasy will start recommending interests that is very closely related to the product itself. So you can actually see here, there are a couple of stuff here. And as you build more and more of this, Peasy then better understands, like, what kind of people are you specifically looking for as well, right, as your target market. So that's one way to do it, right? For this is for general targeting, right? So if say that you would like to run a remarketing campaign, again, not an issue. Click on save audience, right? Just select whatever custom audience that you have created. Now, first things first, you will actually have to create this on your Facebook, right? So you can go to ads, click on your ads menu, right? The menu here. Under assets, go to audience. Okay, sorry, I'm not in the account that I have connected to. So of course you'll see a whole lot more. Okay, yeah, so this is the account I'm actually connected to. So now in order to do so, just click on create audience, custom audience. And you can select whatever it is that you actually like to drive, based on events, based on people in a certain or a particular part of the funnel. The world is your oyster. So you can just select, right? And you can move on. So now you have narrow audience. So what narrow audience is that narrow audience works together with include audience in order to make your targeting a whole lot more specific. So say that you want to target people who enjoys going to restaurants, but at the same time you want people who enjoys football as well, right? So with narrow audience, what you do is that you will take a look. Okay, so the include side is that you'll take a look at everyone who enjoys going to restaurants, right? But at the same time, they must like football as well. So there are people who enjoy going out to restaurants and likes football. So you are now targeting a subset within the restaurant entire set. So that's what narrow audience does. And again, you can also customize this in a way that, say, within your funnel itself, you want to target, you want to be very specific about how you target. For example, someone who has done this step but has also done this step, right? So you want to show this, okay? So something that can be done as well through narrow audience by clicking save audience, having that custom audience set up, right? Just put it in, you're done. So say for exclude audience, right? Say that, basis on your audience research itself, you see that there are interests or particular things that you don't want being pulled within your target market. Now, when I say audience research, you may ask, what is that? How do you do so? Well, we actually do have an article and a video about it on how to do so using Facebook Audience Insights, checking your overlap and stuff like that. So be sure to swing on by onto our Academy page. So, okay, yeah, going back to where we were, right? So what is exclude audience, right? Okay, so say that, you are selling say baby products, right? You're selling baby products. Or no, better example yet was actually one of our clients, our users itself, right? So he was selling cat products, right? He sold cat products, but at the same time he was also getting people who like dogs as well, right? And he finds that within this market itself, those who actually, cats, right? When the people who also has the same interest as dogs, they are more likely, or rather more likely not to buy the product, right? So he went ahead and used this as an exclusion, right? The other reason why you also want to do an exclude audience as well is that when you find that there is overlap. So say that you got two audience segments, right? And there are certain interests where they actually have similarities with, right? So in order to actually be able to run your segment without, one thing is creating a money pit for yourself with this overlap, right? Is to actually use an exclude audience. So you will then exclude the interest, right, of the other, which overlaps. So that's one, that's one of the things. That's what the audience exclusion is. So okay, then let's go to save audience. And so your audience segment is now created. So there are a couple of things here as well, right? You can also create another audience segment if if you have multiple segments you want to run. Though to actually just highlight, right, in terms of, let's say, the spend, because previously I did mention about 80 ringgit per day, right? So say that you run a campaign for 10 days, let's say total spend of 800 ringgit, right? So this is what happens on the audience segment part, is that 800 ringgit will then be split into two. So you can now create only a maximum of 2 audience segments, right? So from the 800 ringgit, it goes to 400 ringgit, 400 ringgit for audience segment 1, segment 2. Now if you want to add on another segment, it's an additional 400 ringgit, right, that has to be added to your total campaign budget. So just keep that in mind, yeah. The other thing is that your budget split has to be a total, it has to equal to 100. The sum of all the budget split has to come into 100. So now, say, what is this population size, right? This population size, one thing is that what this population size tells you, or rather why is it important, right, is that it tells you the size of your audience segment. Now there are a couple of things that you have to look out for this, it's like market saturation, right? That's one of the things. Dilution, that's also another thing you have to think about, right? We actually have a separate video regarding this on understanding why the population size as well is important, right? So okay, on the edit, if you want to edit the campaign itself, you can just click on edit. If you want to edit the segment, you can just click on edit. If you would like to delete the segment, you can just click on delete. Now don't worry about this one. This is actually a suggestion by Peasy itself, right, to say that okay, you can only put a minimum, that's it's best to put the minimum of 7% here, but because we only have 1, right, let's just go 100. Be done with it. You click save and next. This will take you to the media planning page, and you're pretty much good to go. So hope this helps you. Have a good one.